We're now back in proposal one that's in the test project. Now, as you can see, I've placed some vegetation, a building, there's a road there, and there's some site limits there as well. Now, one of the things you can do with Autodesk Forma is you can create what is called a base. So if there are objects within your design that you want to reuse and duplicate for more than one proposal in a project, you can move them to the base setting. So what I'm going to do now, I'm going to set up a simple base and we're going to make sure that certain things stay in the proposals, but also I'm going to duplicate the proposal and make another one, proposal 3 probably in this case, and I'll use that base for proposal 3 as well. Proposal 2 that you can see in the listing there, we don't actually need anymore. That was more for me to show you how to use those generative AI tools and how to set things up. So assume that you've done that now and created something similar to proposal 1. Now, obviously we've got roads in there. There is a roads tool right here. There's the roads tool, and you can add railroads as well, you'll notice. So you can add basic roads, basic railroads into your proposals within your projects. And that's very similar to placing the building, the vegetation, the site limits. You just draw those wherever you want them to go. So let's take a look now at creating a base. So at the moment, our base is down here, untitled. If I right click on it, I can edit the base, I can rename it, I can change the indicator. So that could change to, instead of having A, like it is at the moment, it could be something like P1. So let's change that to P1 or P. There we go. So the base now is P, and you'll notice that updates here. Can you see that? So that's our P, our proposed base. Now I'll right click on it as well, and I'll rename it because untitled doesn't really work. So we'll call this proposed base. Like so. So that's our base, like that. And now there's our proposed base. So elements you would like to reuse across proposals can be added to a base. So how do I add those objects that I want to keep to a base? Well, you simply select them and then you right click and move to base. So our site limits here, there it is. So I've selected it, right click, move to base. So that's now in the base. Editing proposed base changes will affect, done. Now I need to allow it. Can you see that? Text and images, copy to clipboard. Allow that first in your browser. Then click on done. So that's been added to the base. So the site limits have been added. Now the vegetation, I want to add that as well. So I'm going to come over here. Make sure I get my vegetation selected. Now you might need to hit escape a couple of times just to deselect anything else. But you want to make sure that that is selected. So I've got the site limit there by mistake. Quick way of sorting this. Jump like this. And do that. Can you see? And then as you hover, it's a lot easier. So that goes, right click, move to base. So that vegetation has been moved to the base. We'll affect two proposals. Let's say done to that. That's been done as well. So that's been added to the base. So if I now click here and hit escape a couple of times and click on vegetation, can you see that vegetation is now in the base, like so. I need to edit the base to make changes to that though. So hit escape a couple of times. This vegetation here, also right click, move to base. So that's been moved as well. So click on done at the top. That's been added too. And then we don't want the road. The road will change. And we don't want the building. The building will change as well. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to duplicate this proposal 1. So I'll hover here and click here. Duplicate it like so. And now you'll notice things go a little bit crazy. We've now got a proposal 1 copy. Now, proposal 2, I don't really need anymore. So what I'm going to say here, I'm going to rename this. And I'll put proposal 2. And again, I need to click on it like so. And it should have updated. Now, you notice things have gone a bit weird in proposal 2 because the base has been added. So I've got some weird stuff going on there. So proposal 2, I'm going to just click there. And I'm going to rename it. And that's going to be old. So I don't need that anymore. Proposal 2, old. So proposal 1, copy, I'll now rename. And that will become proposal 2. So notice it updates, and then I have to go back and then rename. Okay, so make sure that you're aware of that. So there's proposal 2, done. So I've got proposal 1, proposal 2. So they're both using the same base now. Now the good thing is I can now jump into proposal 2, which is current. There's proposal 1. If I click on it, it's exactly the same. There's proposal 2 there. Now, if you want to delete proposal 2 old, you can. I'm going into proposal 2 now. That's my current proposal. Now, I'm going to remove some bits here. I don't want these roads, so I'm going to click there. That's going to go. So I can right click on it and I can just delete that road. So that can go because that wasn't part of the base. I'm going to jump into 3D again. There's my building. I don't need that either. Right click and delete like so. So I'm just left with the base elements, the proposed base. So what we're assuming now is these trees, these vegetation and site limits are existing and they're not going to change. So what I'm going to do, jump into 2D and we want to create a new building. So we're going up to building here like so. I'm going to do a basic building and I'm just going to trace it in here like so. Now this basic building is going to be different. So I'm just going to move in here, come down there, line that in roughly with the trees, come down there a little bit like so. Let's get that in there. Let's, do you know what? I'll go with a 90-degree corner there like so, like that, and then enter to confirm. So there's my building there. So let's just quickly jump into proposal 1 again. And our building here, let's select that. Make sure we click on it. Hit escape a couple of times if you have issues with that. And then you want the building. So notice I'm getting the site limit there. It's sometimes easier to jump into the 3D. And as you can see, hover on it and click there. So that's got 11 floors at 4.5 meters. So let's jump into proposal 2 again. And we'll do the same again. So we want 11 at 4.5 meters. There's the building. So we'll change that to 11 there. And we still want the same 4.5 meter height on each floor. So you can see now we've got a building that is the same height, but it's now a different shape, different orientation. So we've now got proposal 1 and proposal 2 all set up with our proposed base. So now we can start thinking about how we analyze those two proposals. We can start comparing them and seeing what happens with things like sun, shade, wind, microclimate, etc.